be able to go live now. Alright, y'all can probably hear me now. I think. Yes, hello to my 0 viewers. How many people are watching? Just literally 0, I assume? Yeah, 0 concurrent viewers. That's fine. Okay. So today, I was bored, so I decided we're gonna try to get the Gucci banana in Milkman Karlson. Don't know what that is. Basically, it's why is that? I don't know why that. It's this item right here, $500,000, which is kind of crazy, but yeah. So currently I have $37, and I'm about to reset my save file as well. Now you may be wondering, how in the world am I going to get this in a feasible amount of time, right? Because sure, I could go into the arenas and try and like individually kill the enemies until I have enough money, right? Thing about that is that it takes like way longer. I'd probably be dead by the time I unlock the Gucci banana, honestly. Not actually, but still. It'd be a while, so it's still gonna be a while, but I found a much better strat, and if you saw the video I made on this strat a long time ago, or there was actually at one point where I tried streaming myself doing it, but I gave up early on. Then you know what this strat is. Basically, we go into here, and do you see how when I click the restart button, I pick up a pistol, right? It gives me $1 each time. So basically the idea is that I mapped my right mouse button to open the pause menu and the left mouse button to click, so I can just restart and over, and that's basically how we're going to be getting the money. As far as I know, this is the fastest way to get money in the game. If anybody has any better ideas, let me know. As far as I know, there's no levels that have like 2 guns at once or anything. So yeah. And we're also going to be binging some Dani content while we're waiting, because I figured that'd be fun, you know? Just gonna restart this. We're just gonna binge some Dani content at the top left of the screen, as you can see, because otherwise it'd just be boring as hell, which would not be fun. So yeah, here we go. This is Dani's first ever video, by the way.
Hi, and welcome to my very first devlog video. In this video series, I want to show off the game that I'm currently working on. The game doesn't have a name yet, so if you have any suggestions, then I'm totally open for them. The game is basically, as you can tell, about dumb stick figures with silly physics. And you're able to interact with pretty much everything in the world. So that's really the main idea behind the game. I'm currently developing the game in Unity, and I'm using Rider from IntelliJ to do the coding in C#. And since this is the very first episode, I want to go back in time and show you guys how this game all started and how I got to where I am today. So it's going to be a bit of an introduction episode and not too much developing. But in the future episodes, we will be moving on from where the game stands today. So let's go back to the beginning. The very first thing I had to do was make a stickman who could stand, walk, and not fall apart. I learned about hinge joints and scripts, and eventually managed to put together, this. But you gotta start somewhere, and after a while I worked a bit more on the script and the stick figure, and managed to put together a somewhat believable stick figure. It was definitely not the best, but this was a good start for me. He could move his hands, he could grab onto things, and he could walk. He might not be moving his legs when he walked, but he could walk, or float. but that's still pretty cool. And so I had successfully put together the very first version of my game.
By the way, I'm
As
in
you can
voice
tell,
chat on my
it's
Discord
not
server,
beautiful,
so if
it's not a
anybody
pretty
wants to
sight, but
join,
this was the
I
base
mean, not that
idea.
anybody's
And
watching
this
right
is
now,
what I
because
used
I
to
probably have like
create
0 viewers
the
right now,
next
but,
version of the game, which is a bit better than what you're looking at right now, because this is kind of the Frankenstein of stick figures. But let's look at the next version. Let's fast forward a couple of
clicking
weeks
with both
and
hands
see
now.
where the
One
game
for
goes.
one for right button, one for left.
So I scrapped all the old stuff and completely started over, and as you can tell, the result is much better than what I previously had. He can now move all of his limbs, his arms and feet.
Hello,
fall
Studios.
off. He can die, and
how you
things are
doing?
just much more smooth than what they were. Obviously,
Do I need to? I guess I should explain the
like
strategy
today,
again,
but
since
this
probably
was
some
definitely
people are
improvement
joining.
from what it
So
previously looked
basically,
like.
you know,
Now
if
it's
I
a
were
bit
to
intense, but I kept
get
on
money
working,
from
and
individually
a couple of
shooting
weeks
these
forward,
guys,
I have
that
now
would take
improved the
forever,
movement
and I don't
system,
have
and I've
time for
added
that.
multiplayer to
But
the
when
game.
I
The reason I
reset the
implemented
level,
multiplayer to the game
it
so early is
it
because
gives me
multiplayer is going to
a.
play a big role in the
Let me
game.
turn down the audio of the video. There we go. So now you should be able to hear me. But when you restart the level, it gives you a pistol like as soon as you spawn in, and that gives you $1. So as far as I know, this is the fastest way to get money in the game. We're also just binging some Dani content at the top left because I don't know, I don't want to be bored out of my mind. Like it wouldn't be fun if it were an actual challenge, right? I mean, it's still gonna be a challenge. I'm kidding. Probably gonna be a challenge for my fingers. Also, this isn't gonna be a one stream thing. This is gonna be like mini streams if I decide to do it. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna do it or not, but we'll see. Yep. So I guess I'll be like a reaction YouTuber to Dani's content real quick. I turned down the volume of Milkman Karlson a bit. That's a bit too quiet. Yeah, I'm just adjusting the volume of things right now. You just watched my Dani level maker video. Yeah, that video, I'm pretty proud of that video, but at the same time, there's a few problems with it that I wish I could change at this point. But you know, I'm still glad that it got the amount of attention that it did. Yeah, just because you know, that's probably the most effort I've put into a video to date. So I'm glad that that actually paid off. But yeah, now I just kind of do random stuff. Sometimes it's Dani's content, sometimes it's other content. I'm definitely gonna make more Dani related content once he actually uploads again, which supposedly is gonna be sometime this year, but that's what he said February of last year, so who even knows anymore? Yeah. What would this be at this point? Like I'd be writing if we were going off the lore of that video from earlier that I made, I would be writing down in my Dani days without Dani being here journal for like day 600 something or something like that. Oh jeez. Because it's been like over 2 years or something, right? It totally has.
So what is ClickUp? ClickUp is an
Ah, jeez. Okay. Shut up. Shut up. I literally do not care. Anyways, YouTube ads are bad.
Hi and welcome to the second episode of my devlog.
Alright, yeah, see you, Studios.
There are
Bye.
a number of things I want to focus on, but the first thing I want to get out
Yeah,
of the
thanks.
way is I want to make sure that the train is randomly generated every time you play through it, so you don't have to play through the same map every single time. So that's the first thing I want to work on.
Yeah.
So the basic idea is to fill an array with all of the train parts and then pick one random part from this array and insert it into the train, and thus randomly generating a train, or at least that's the idea. And once I run out of parts to pick between,
I wonder what
I
game
copy the
Danny's
array,
working on
put
right
it
now, because
into initial
supposedly
parts.
ever
So the
since
coding part is
the
fairly
last
simple
video
because
came out,
I'm
he's been
not
working on
a
a
pro.
game.
I just ran
I
into
really
a
wonder what it
random train
is. I
part
guess we'll
with
have to wait and
different
find
input
out, because
points,
he's being
and the
very
text is weird,
secretive.
and so I have to
But
change all of the
supposedly he is
inputs
working
off
on a
left
game, so he's
so
not
that
like
I can
dead.
easily chain the train together. Otherwise, I will have to do a lot of calculations in the code, and I think just changing the pivot points will make things much easier on my part. So that's really going to be the lengthy process here. But now I'm gonna go and get some exercise done, and hopefully when I come back, I'll be able to finish the randomly generated train. So I got everything up and running, and what you're looking at right now is some top secret, confidential, behind the scenes footage of the train, being randomly created, which is pretty cool. There are still some issues, but for the most part, this works, and I will fix those issues along the way. But it's not really a big problem right now. It's just kind of annoying when it happens, but I know why it happens, and it's a pretty easy fix. So I will definitely look into fixing that very soon. So I haven't done anything too interesting in the
By
last
the way,
few
I'm
days.
doing like
I added a wheel
I'm
to
doing like a
connect
motion
those
with
different
my
parts,
hands
as you
where,
can see on
so
the
I've got
screen.
it.
So just to
Hi,
add some
Super.
more dynamics to the gameplay,
How you
this
doing?
is kind of
So
boring at the
I guess
moment,
I
but
should
just to add
explain the
more
strategy
context, I have
again,
a couple of
because
ideas in mind.
people are
But for now,
people are new here.
it's just a boring wheel,
Uh,
and I've also added a
so
desert
basically,
effect in the background. So I've just blurred
just
some of the
getting money by
trees
shooting
depending
these
on how
people would
far
take
away they are.
forever,
So
right?
it kind of looks
So
a
my
bit better in
strategy
video,
is
like
just
there's more depth.
to go into
But
the
yeah,
pause
I was just
menu and
looking into things
restart over and over again, and you
unexpected
can
in my
see
game.
every time I
So something weird
restart, I
started
get
happening, and while I
a
was
dollar
playtesting the
from
game,
the
I
gun that I
basically
immediately
just
pick up.
do some weird
So
stuff.
that's my strategy
For
basically.
example, I had a boss who would
I've
just
got my right mouse
and
button
insert
mapped
himself
to
on the
going
train
into the
tracks,
pause
which
menu, so
really
that way
makes
I
a lot
can
of sense
kind
because the
of
little
do
ball
like a little
is really
motion where
supposed
I
to do that.
bring one
And
finger down on the
here's
right
what I
one
think is happening because I
and then
changed the
follow
pivot
with the
points
left
of
mouse
all the
button
train parts.
and kind of
So
like
basically because I
alternate,
was looking for the middle of the
kind of like
train parts,
rolling it a
I
bit.
just run to the
I
middle
don't know how
and
to
shoot from
describe
there.
the movement I'm doing
So I
right
no
now,
longer
but
knew where the middle was
it's
because
cool.
I had
Also, I'm
changed
just
it and
binging
now it's
Danny content
default.
right now
And
because,
so
you
he
know,
would just randomly
fun.
run off the train looking for the middle of the train.
I'm gonna turn it up a bit. Is it just me, or is the volume of Danny's early videos just like different in different parts?
Since each of the maps
Because
are
I
going to
think I
have
have
their
to
own
turn it
little
up and down.
story, I wanted to implement some sort of
By the way,
dialogue
is the
system, and I
volume
thought
good,
that one of the
guys?
better ways to do
Is
that is
everybody in
with
chat? Can you tell me, is the
cutscenes.
volume of
So what
everything
was
good, or is
supposed to
something
implement
too
is
loud right
immediate
now?
action here. Obviously, this is not the final product at all. This is just some testing, just dipping my toes into the water. But basically, you just add a game object and make it a cutscene object, and
Like,
then
can
add
you
a
hear
text
me over
object
the
to connect
video
it
that I'm
into
playing,
with the text
binging
you
or
want to
whatever,
add,
or
and it will basically
should
play all of the
I
text in the
do
cutscene,
something
and the
else?
cutscene will last as long as the text is there. So you can see it on screen right now.
Maybe
The
turn up the
cutscene
video a
starts,
bit, or the
and
whole
you
stream.
can't really move while the cutscene is
Turn
playing,
the video
obviously.
up
And
or
then
the whole
once the
stream.
cutscene is over,
I think I might have set the stream to a pretty low latency on accident, or high latency, so we're gonna be like a full minute behind the chat, I guess. Yeah, I know you can hear me. I'm asking like, well, I don't know if you even heard what I said a second ago at this point, because the chat delay, stream delay. But yeah, I was asking like, what is like, do I need to turn up the video or turn up
and blow him
everything?
up.
Yeah,
Yes,
there
please.
definitely is.
But yeah, it looks like
Do I
after the
need to
patch
turn
note,
up
this is obviously
the
not the final version. And you can also
video
add
or my
like emotions,
voice?
I guess, to the scenes. So for example, if I add shake, it's gonna start
You said to
shaking on
turn
the
up
second
something. I
text.
don't know which one.
This doesn't quite work
Do
yet
I
because
turn
I haven't
up
really
like,
implemented
or do
it
you want me to turn up
properly,
the
so
whole
it's a bit
stream?
weird. but the idea is there. So it's gonna start shaking and it kind of goes out of the screen. But you get what it's supposed to do, and that's what I will be working on implementing.
Turn up the video? Okay, I will. I'm just gonna turn up my entire computer because apparently that affects the audio for some reason. And I'll just turn down my voice a bit like that. That should be good, I think.
Working more on the cutscenes. I've also been working on implementing a bow, which obviously shoots arrows, which stick to your enemies, which is quite fun. But as you can tell, it doesn't quite work very well yet, but I'm working on it. And I also wanted to add Indians to kind of have like a cowboy versus Indians.
Dani racist
But it came to my
confirmed.
attention that it could be considered racist, which
Yeah,
I
okay.
obviously don't want to have in my game. So if there's any cowboy versus Native American experts out there,
Bro really was just like, is there a way I can make this not racist?
or offensive, or if it's really as offensive as
Bro really just said,
some
can
people
I
say
make
it
this
is, because
not
I live in
racist?
Europe, so I don't really know how offensive people consider this. Is this a really
Dani would
sensitive
never
topic?
get away with
Because
this
if it
in
is,
his modern
I'm just
videos,
gonna
not
stick
gonna
to
lie.
cowboys and leave the Native Americans out. So again, if there's any experts out there, then let me know if there's any way I can do this without being, you know, insensitive, or if I should just stick to cowboys altogether.
Bro, he's rambling for a
Because I
while
might just
about
have to do
this.
that
Jeez.
if it's considered insensitive or racist.
Yeah, we get it.
in
You're a
any way, shape,
racist.
or
Shut
form,
up.
because that's obviously not very good.
I'm
But that's
kidding.
really going to be it for this week's episode.
God, I'm
I
gonna
will
get
try and
I'm gonna
upload
get
weekly as long as I have
demonetized, but I guess
something
they
to
can't
show.
really
Obviously,
demonetize
it's
me
1
if
week
I'm never
I've got nothing
monetized in
new,
the
then
first
I'm
place. So
probably
who
not going
cares?
to make a new episode. But as long as I manage to implement new things, then I will definitely try and upload regularly. That's the plan anyway. So I want to thank everyone who subscribed, watched, or liked and commented the video. That means a lot. And also, if you're interested in getting a bit more involved in a community, I have a Discord where I post GIFs and we just kind of have some general discussions about things, which is fun. So if you're interested, there is a link down below. But yeah, that's going to be it for this week's episode. I want to thank everyone for watching, and I will hopefully catch you guys the next week.
Hold up, I got a YouTube notification on my phone.
How to get the
Oh
most
my gosh, shut up. I don't care about you stupid ads. Yeah, I got a notification on
free.
my
It's
phone.
Kayla on behalf of Grammarly to tell you all
About something, I don't know. Can't get demonetized for stealing a dead person's video. I hope that's a joke. I hope you know that he's not dead. He's just spent like 2 fucking years on a game that he won't tell anyone anything about. So, yay, that's fun. But he isn't dead. I have an ad blocker. I guess it just doesn't do YouTube videos. I don't know. Hold on, let me see. Is it that's not it. Is it enabled? Oh, I have it in incognito mode, so I guess it doesn't have the ad blocker in there. Yeah, whatever. It's fine, I guess.
Hi and welcome back
Yeah,
to my
he's
devlog
been
series.
taking a break
Today
for
is
like
Monday.
2
I
years.
just finished up school.
Wait,
and
I
I'm
swear,
on my way
Danny's
home,
videos
so
keep going up and down in volume, like over and
when I
over
get
in
home,
his early
I'll
ones.
hopefully have some time to work on my game.
What is that? Is that math?
So I just got home from school, and one of the first things I want to work on this week is the aiming, because it's very hard to aim in the game currently. As you can tell, it's kind of like a resonance movement going on with his arms. They're just wiggling back and forth, making it pretty much impossible to aim correctly. So I really want to get that
Danny
out of the
hasn't
way,
uploaded. Yeah,
this
Danny
week
hasn't
first.
uploaded in forever, but supposedly
Fixing the
he's
aiming
gonna
turned out to
upload at
be
some point
harder
this
than I
year.
initially
He
thought,
said he was gonna
mainly
upload
because everything in
February
this
of
game
last
is
year, though, so
physics-based.
who even
His
knows,
arms, his
honestly?
limbs, you know, everything. So it's not just as simple as making his arms point towards the mouse or towards the controller, because, you know, it's all falling towards the ground and everything is affected by gravity. So it's a bit more tricky, and I kind of ended up making Superman and things just completely stopped working. So I think I'm gonna have to put this issue aside for now and come back to it later. So after I set the aiming issue aside, I started working on the movement system. Because before, when you lost your legs or any other limb, your ragdoll would basically go crazy and start flying, and I've made it so that doesn't happen, and you can now control your ragdoll even though you lost your legs, which is kind of a fun feature. As you can tell, you can kind of jiggle around and use your hands and do different things, which is a lot of fun. I still haven't made up my mind if I want them to bleed out or if you should just be able to keep on going forever as like a half-dead guy, but I think both would be fun, so I'll try and figure out a good solution for that. I've also worked on some blood splatter, which you can see on screen, which just kind of helps indicate if you hit your target
Yeah,
or not.
so he
But I don't
said
have
he
too much,
was
like,
gonna
gore or
upload at
blood in
some
the game, so I
point,
might just make
but
the blood the
yeah,
color
he's
of the
still
sticker,
planning
so
to,
it's just kind of
supposedly,
a
but
neat
it's gonna be a
picture of the
while,
stick figure.
supposedly. He doesn't have
So
a
that's going to
release
be
date
all
in
for
mind,
today. For now, I'll just be doing some
so,
homework
you know.
and then go get some
If I had to
sleep.
guess, the video is gonna release along with the game, or at least very close to it, so, you know.
Today's Tuesday. I've pretty much been working with school all day today, and I don't think I'll get too much work done on the game. But before I go to bed, there's one feature I want to implement, and that's a knockout feature. So basically, if you get hit really hard in the
I
head
gotta
by,
check my
for
phone.
example, an arrow, or someone falls down really hard on you, then you get knocked out for a couple of seconds, depending on how hard that thing hits you. So that's what I want to implement. You can see it on the screen right now. It kind of works, but it's also a bit buggy, so I still need to do some work on it. But, you know, the idea is there, and that's what I want to implement. But for now, I have to go to bed because it's getting kind of late, and I've got school tomorrow.
Okay, so it has now
It is
been
Wednesday,
like
my dudes, and
20
it's
minutes,
time
so
to
let's see how
tackle
much
the
money I
aiming
have.
again. I
That's a
really
fair
want to
amount of
get this out
money.
of the way,
A
so
fair amount.
today I'll
So
mostly just
let
be
me
putting all my...
quickly do some calculations, right? So if that was like 20 minutes, that means we have three of those in each hour. So that means 3 times 1500 is 4,500 per hour. So, and you need I think it's you need you need 500,000 to unlock it. So 500,000, it is 500,000, right? Why is it doing that? I don't know. Okay. Yeah, so 500,000 divided by 4,500 is 111.11111111 hours if we keep going at this pace. So this will probably be multiple streams if I had to guess. Um, Theoretically possible though, you know? So why don't you set up a macro or something for the... Yeah, I actually made a video a long time ago where I set up a macro and do it. That's already something I did. The video's kind of cringe, but if you do want to watch it, the link is in the description of this stream, if I remember correctly. So yeah, let's go back in here and start doing stuff again. Our fingers are getting a bit
figuring
tired.
out a way to fix the aim problem, because as you can tell, it's pretty bad at the moment, and I really want to just fix this. So I've been working on the...
Real quick, I'm gonna grab like something to eat. Just bring something up here. I'm like hungry. I got some goldfish. Goldfish are underrated in my opinion. So I'm doing it by hand. Yeah, that's the challenge. Is I'm doing it by hand. Anyways, let's continue. Oh yeah, let me start the video.
Aiming issue for quite a while now, and I think I've figured out a pretty decent solution to it. It took some time before I realized it, but it was super obvious. But basically, I'm just counteracting the swinging motion by applying a force that is the negative of where it's currently moving. So
Got a drink
basically, if
here.
his hands are moving up, there will be a force applied down, but only if he's
Yay.
aiming, for example, to the left or to the right. So
Gonna
it
drink.
kind of has some
Hold the drink with one
specifications,
hand and
but
flick
it
with
works
the other.
very well in practice. So as you can tell now, his hands are stable as a something very stable. I don't know, but you can tell the aiming is so much easier and better now, and you can actually aim where you want to aim with the controller stick, which is great. I'm also working on implementing some animation system. So far, I've just implemented the very core of the system, but as you can tell, it kind of works in practice. When I start firing, he's raising his arms, and then he releases his arm when I fire, sometimes. But that's the idea anyway. But for now, I'm gonna go and get some workout done, and then I will probably sleep because it's getting quite late. But I feel like I've done quite a bit today.
You want me to watch Karlson Vibe? I mean, like, I already know what Karlson Vibe is, but sure, I'll watch it real quick.
Contracts.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch it. I don't want to watch your stupid... whatever that is. Alright, let's watch it real quick. Oh, I forgot how loud it is. Oh god. I forgot it has intense bass boost. Jeez. Jeez. Yeah, of course, everybody knows what Karlson Vibe is. Anyways, that's that. Let's get back to watching all of the Dani videos in existence.
Hi, and welcome back to my devlog series. Today is Monday, I just finished up school, and I'm on my way home. So when I get home, I'll
Alright, see ya,
have some
Super.
time to work on my game. So I just got home from school, and one of the first things I want to work on this
I already
week
watched this part, right?
but I'm pretty much finished up now, and I will dive right into
Whatever,
Unity
we'll-
and start working
right here.
on the animation system. As you can see, it's kind of working a bit better now. His hand is sort of moving back like you would if you held an arrow sometimes. It's not really very consistent, but I'll be working on fixing that a bit. But I did run into a couple of issues. His hand would occasionally act as the arrow, and sometimes he would just blow up. Yeah, so these are all a couple of issues, but they all come with trying to make animations that are procedurally generated, because I can't just simply make animations. I have to use physics to sort of generate an animation, which is quite a bit harder than just creating an animation through animating.
Should I...
But that's really
does anybody
everything I'm
want
going
me
to have
to
time for
explain the
today.
strategy
I
I'm
know
doing
how
again,
to
by
head
the
off
way?
to
Anybody in
work,
chat?
and I won't be home
How
till
many
late,
viewers do I have right now? Like, 2?
and I'll probably just go to bed. So
2.
hopefully
Nice.
tomorrow
Yeah.
I'll get some more progress on the animation system.
So does anybody want me to explain the strategy again? Because if you want me to, I'll explain. Just let me know in chat. Yeah, I'll pin like a message in
It's
chat.
Friday morning, I just
Ask
finished off my
me if
workout and it's
you
time to get going
want
on the
to
game.
know
So
what
first
the
of today, I've just
strategy
polished up the
is.
bow animation and I feel like it looks a bit better now. It's way more consistent and his arm doesn't get ripped off, which is, you know, that's a good addition. And as you can tell, I came across an issue with the bow, or rather the arrows. When you shoot to the left, they work just fine, but if you shoot to the right, they will kind of move the wrong way, which was a bit weird. I first thought it had something to do with where I applied the force on the arrow, and I tried to fix that, but that didn't really work out too well. It kind of gave some weird results. But eventually I figured out it had something to do with the pivot point of the arrow tip, which I eventually managed to fix. It wasn't really a hard fix, I just didn't really understand why the problem was there in the first place, but it was kind of obvious. And as you can see, everything is working as it should now, which is good. But for now, I'm headed off to make some lunch, and then I'll be off for a concert, actually, with some of my friends. So I probably won't get much more progress done for today. I've also briefly tried to refresh my physics skills from way back, which didn't go too well, but I'm working on it so I can make the enemies aim properly with the bow.
I was making food. He's cooking, literally. He's cooking. No way. He's literally cooking. Literally. What quality is it? Why is it in 360p right now? Okay, I'm setting it to 720 at least. Okay, there we go.
It's
Guess it's
Saturday,
because I'm
and I've pretty
streaming.
much spent most of the day implementing a system that allows the non-human players to aim at the players. Now, I already had a system like this, but it didn't quite work too well, and I also had some issues using this system together with animations, so I've completely reworked the whole system, and now animations work totally fine with the CPUs or the non-human players. So they can now aim with the bow and pull the string back. They don't aim very well yet, but I am still working on fixing that. So eventually they'll be able to properly hit targets no matter how far away they are. But it's getting kind of late now, so that's going to be it for today, and I am going to head to bed for now. It's Sunday today, and I will probably spend the whole day editing together this week's devlog video. Next week, I'm pretty busy with school, so I probably won't have much time to even work on the game or record anything, so probably not going to be a devlog video next week. But again, that's going to be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, then consider subscribing. That would be very much appreciated, and hopefully I will see you guys very soon.
Anyways.
The best time to get a Reese's?
I don't
Anytime.
care about Reese's. I
Also
literally
all
don't.
the time.
I literally.
Now you kids be careful.
Shut up. Okay. Here, hold on. I'm getting an ad blocker. Hold on. Hold on. Hold up. I'm getting out my ad blocker. Actually, technically I have YouTube Premium because my sister decided to pay for it, so to get downloads. So, yeah. Okay. You're seeing the wrong screen right now, so that's fun. Okay, what's the thing? What is all of this search history? Jeez. Okay. So Dani, I actually I have the playlist on my channel, which it's a giant playlist with literally all of the Dani videos in existence, but you can't directly find it when you search it up, as far as I know. So yeah, where is it? There's a bunch of garbage here. God, there's a bunch of private playlists of old things that I used to like but don't anymore. So that's what the actual heck is all of this? Jeez. Anyways, uh, let's get started watching that again. Where was I? I was like, right, right here probably? Yeah, right here.
Hi and welcome back to my devlog series. It's been a while since I did one of these, mainly because of university. It's been very busy lately, but this week I think I'll have some time to work on the game. And the first thing I want to work on is the archers, because they know how to shoot arrows, they're just not very good at it. So I want to improve their aiming so that they can, most of the time, kind of hit their target. Obviously they're not going to be overpowered, but I want them to be able to at least aim somewhat good. So that's what we're doing today. I've been working for quite a while now on trying to get the aiming right, but I just kind of run into a lot of issues, so I think I'll just have to revisit this and fix it up later. So for now I'm gonna go to bed, and tomorrow I want to start working on something completely different, which is the boss for the train map. So currently when you get to the final boss, he just kind of, he's usually dead when you get to him, so that's a bit of an issue, and he's not really a boss fight. So I really want to just clean this up and make it a cool and kind of fun and interesting fight. So that's what we're doing tomorrow.
Oh, it's still showing the wrong screen. I forgot about that. Hold up, where? Here we go. Much better. Sorry, I didn't realize it was showing the wrong screen still. That's funny.
As I mentioned yesterday, I want to start working on the boss fight. As you can tell, this is what it currently looks like. It's very boring. He's got a gun, and if you get too close to him, he'll just slap you up or shoot you. So it's not very interesting. So the first thing I want to work on is giving him more of an entrance, because it doesn't really feel like a boss fight currently. So I want to make it seem more bossy, I guess. So to start it off, I'm giving him more of an entrance. I've made this smoke bomb kind of thing with the particle system, and he's going to appear out of nowhere, and then there's going to be like some sort of dialogue, and then the boss fight starts. So I'm pretty happy with how it looks, and now I just gotta make him spawn with it. It's all coming along very nice, and now he will appear out of nowhere, and there will be a little dialogue box, and then he will slap you up. So yeah, as you can tell, his fighting abilities aren't the best. He's just kind of hitting a man who's already down, but I'll be working on that and improving his fighting, and then he falls apart. Okay, yeah, so that's going to be it for today. Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to put in some more work. I have a lot of ideas for the boss fight and how I want it to go, so yeah, I'll go hit the sack and hopefully get up a bit early tomorrow and do some work. It's Wednesday, my dudes, and I'm starting off the day by just writing down what I want to do with the boss fights and a couple of other features that I want to implement, and what's done and what needs to be done. So I'll just be running up a bit here and then start working more on the boss fights. So I've started working a bit on the boss fight again, and I've run into a couple of issues. For example, the boss doesn't seem to recognize the floor, and so he just runs off because he doesn't know where to go. So that's a bit of an issue, and other things are just kind of acting up, and things are looking a bit weird.
We have gone down to 0 viewers, so that's fun.
But for now, I actually have to head off to work, and I don't think I'll be able to work more on the game when I get home, so I'll just have to continue where I left off tomorrow. It's Thursday, and the first thing I got out of the way was making the HP bar and also the boss name above the HP bar, so you can tell you're fighting Billy the Stick. Super creative, I know, and you can shoot him, and when his HP reaches 0, he dies, which is usually what happens when your HP reaches 0, so it's all cool there. But the next thing I want to work on is actually the bullets, because they look so bad and you really can't see them, so I want to make sure they're more visible and just look better. I've worked a bit on making the bullets looking better and more visible, and I'm pretty happy with the result. There's like a smoke trail following behind, and they're moving a bit slower too, because I think you should be able
I
to
wonder if
dodge
there's any way
bullets,
I could like
especially when the
quickly
enemy shoots.
get
Because if you're
like
hit by one bullet,
$2
you
here
might just end
somehow.
up
I don't
dying,
think there
which
is, right?
is a bit of a problem. So you can die very easily, and therefore I feel like you should have some
Yeah,
time to
whatever.
dodge the bullet and kind of
I've checked
not
all the
die
levels.
too
I don't
easily.
think
I
there's
feel
a way
like
for
that's
me to
probably
get
a good
2
idea, but
guns
I'll
at
see how
once
that
to give
plays
me
out when I
$2 at the
properly
beginning
playtest the game.
of each restart.
But for
So I
now,
don't
I'm
know.
gonna go to bed, and hopefully I'll get some work done tomorrow. I have to head off for my part-time job, but that's kind of late, so I think I'll be able to do a couple of things before I head off. It's finally Friday, and I've just fixed up a couple of bugs. For example, the one where he would run off the map. He doesn't do that anymore. He's now able to find the collider or the ground that he's currently standing on, and then he'll run towards the middle, which is great. So some of the bugs are fixed, and what I want to work on now is I want to give him the ability to teleport, so he can kind of be a bit more intimidating than just some goofy guy running around. So he's actually going to be able to teleport behind or in front of the players. And yeah, I've started working on it, but things aren't looking too great. He teleports and then he just turns into some sort of, yeah. But for now, I have to head off to work, and hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to finish up this teleporting ability, because as you can tell, currently it doesn't work too well. So before I start working on the teleporting itself, I had to clean up some really old code. Basically the game controller holding all the positions and information about the players. I had to fix that up before I could start working on the teleporting, but that's all good now, and you can tell the boss has this radius around him that's illustrated with 2 lines. It's basically a circle, and if anything is within this circle, then he can't teleport there. So that's just to avoid issues where he would teleport into players and it would kind of just screw up everything. So that issue is now not an issue anymore, and I can finally work on finding the locations that he should teleport to, which is next to the players. So now everything
Whoa,
should
what
be
did I
working
just
fine as
do?
far as finding locations goes. He can now find 2 locations.
I
next to
guess
each
if
player,
I
which is in the front and
both
in the back of the player,
pause and restart
and
it at the
that's kind of
same
where
frame,
he's
it
going to
does
spawn.
that.
So he's gonna choose one
Interesting.
location where it's possible to spawn, and he's gonna spawn there
I
and
wonder if I
hopefully
could like,
snap up
is
the
there a way
players.
I could
That's
like,
the idea anyway. So it's finally time
is
to
there a way
test
I
the
could like
teleporting and
somehow
see
like
if it works. He should now
get
spawn
like
next to the
a
players
3
and
times
attack.
multiplier and like stack up the multipliers
And
like this? That'd be funny.
yeah,
Probably not, right? There's
I
no
eventually
way.
figured out what was causing the issue,
'Cause
and
that's
everything is
interesting.
working
I
quite
don't
smoothly
think I
now. As you
could
can tell, he
do that.
teleports in one of 4 locations, which is either to the
So
left or to the right of both players.
I'd have to
Unless
do
there
like
is
a
something in
click,
that
like
location
2
that
clicks in
prevents
a
him from
row if
teleporting
that was
there.
even
So
possible.
everything is
Like
working fine. I'm
frame
quite happy
next
with
to
this.
each other
I'm
by frame. So
probably
that'd
going to
probably
run
be
into 1 million bugs,
possible, but
but for
might
now
be
I think
possible
it's
with like
looking
a
good,
tool
and
assisted
I want to
thing or
start working
something.
on a couple of other things.
Maybe. I don't know.
But it's getting kind of late today, so I'm probably gonna have to continue on either Monday or some other time next week, because tomorrow I'll be working on the devlog episode. It's Sunday, and I probably won't have too much time to work on a game, because I'll be spending most of the day editing together this week's devlog episode, and the next couple of weeks I'll be, again, quite busy with finals and other things happening. So if you want to follow development, I might post some screenshots or GIFs on my Discord server or Twitter. Both of those links are in the description if you're interested. So there probably won't be a devlog episode in a bit, but I will do my best to hopefully get one up in at least 2 or 3 weeks. So we'll see. But I want to thank you guys very much for watching, and I will see you guys in not too long. Hi, and welcome back to my devlog series. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday. I sure did. and it's finally Monday and time to get back to working on the game. I haven't really made any progress since last time. I've just been fixing some small bugs, but I did get to play test the game with some of my friends, and I quickly realized that the biggest issue right now is the camera speed, because 90% of the time we died to falling off the screen. So that's really the first thing that I want to work on fixing today. I think I've found a pretty good solution by now, and basically what I did was split the screen into 3 sections, and if there is at least one player in the back section or all the way to the left, then the camera will move pretty slow so this player can catch up with the other ones. If there is no player all the way in the back and at least one player in the middle, then the camera will be moving at a normal speed. If every single player is all the way to the right, then the camera will be moving relatively fast. So a pretty simple solution wasn't actually that easy to implement because I had to account for players dying in the different zones and update the zones and some different issues, but eventually it worked out fine, and as you can tell here, everything is nice and easy. He moves to the left and the camera starts moving slow, goes back to the middle and camera is moving normal, and then it goes slow again because Pink is stuck in the left, but then he gets shot by the blue guy. So yeah, things are working fine. I felt like this had to be resolved quickly because it really helps make the gameplay much more fun when players don't just die because they fall all the way in the back. It's much more fun when you actually get to play the game. So yeah, things are working fine, and I can now move on to the next issue, which already seems to have appeared right here. Yeah. But like all great developers do, I am going to postpone this issue and go for an evening walk instead. And when I get home, I am probably going to call it a night, and I'll continue tomorrow.
It looks like he blurred out the footage of his location, which I guess is smart. Like, cause like that looks like it was
It's
blurred
Tuesday, my
out
dudes, and
after the
today I
video
have
came out.
to
I just
change
think
an
that's
old
interesting.
mechanic and make it a bit better, because currently when you walk over a gun or anything that's pickupable, you'll just instantly pick it up, which is kind of a bad mechanic. I want to make it so you have to press a button to pick it up, which is probably going to break the whole game, because that's usually what happens when you add new features and mess with old code. But I'm gonna venture into it anyway, and wish me luck, boys, because this might be the last thing you see of me. Apparently my old code wasn't actually that bad, and I managed to get everything working relatively well. So when you walk above a gun, you can pick it up and you can shoot it and do whatever you want with it and then drop it again. So it's all working fine. I just need to make it look more smooth with the text, because currently it's just kind of popping in and out and it looks kind of bad. But that's really everything I have time for today, and hopefully I'll be able to get to work a bit more tomorrow. It's Thursday, and I didn't really get to do much work on the game yesterday because I was super busy, but today we are doing something a bit more fun. We're going to add a dynamite item, which is basically going to be one of the boss's attacks, because currently all he can do is teleport behind you and slap you up, and it's a bit boring. So I want to give him a dynamite item that he can throw and that you will have to throw back at him. And you can kind of see now why I wanted to implement the pick up and throw system, because before you would automatically pick up the dynamite, which is a bit of an issue because sometimes you don't really want to pick up an item that is about to explode. So now you can kind of choose when you want to pick it up and when you want to throw it away, which I think makes for much better mechanics for the game. Now, I'd be lying if I said implementing the dynamite was just a walk in the park, because I quite literally had some huge issues with it, but I eventually figured out what the issue was, and we're now back on track. Everything is now up and running and should be working fine, so I'll give you a little demo of what it looks like. I've temporarily disabled the slapping mechanic, so all he does now is throw C4, or dynamite, I mean, and you'll have to drop your gun, pick up the dynamite and throw it back, and do it before it blows you up, because that's not really a good idea. So that's basically how it works. It will do a good chunk of damage if you hit him, so that's kind of why it's worth throwing the dynamite back. And yeah, hopefully tomorrow what I want to add is a shooting mechanic for the boss, so he spawns with a gun with 1 bullet and he'll shoot 1 bullet at you that you will have to dodge. And
My
yeah,
fingers are
this will
getting
kind of help
tired, so I'm
spice
gonna
up the boss a
stop in
bit,
a
so
minute.
he
I
has
had to
more than
switch
just 2
to one
attacks.
hand
He will
for
now have
left
3
click
attacks,
and one
which
hand
I
for
think will be fun. So
right click at
that's
this
going to be
point.
it for
So,
today, and I will
yeah.
see you guys tomorrow. It's finally Friday, my dudes. It's time to eat some fucking tacos and chill out. But before we do any of that, we have to implement a gun attack for the boss. And also, one thing I want to do before I do that is actually add an outline around the players. The reason I want to do this is because against certain backgrounds, it can be really hard to see the actual player, which is a bit of a problem. So I think adding an outline will fix this issue. I initially thought about doing this using shaders, but then I realized one thing, I don't know shit about shaders. So instead of doing it with shaders, I just basically
Okay,
made another
we got like
player
5
behind the
minutes
player
until
that is just
we've
completely
been streaming
black
for exactly an
on
hour.
another
So
layer,
I'm gonna
but a bit
stop
bigger.
whenever we reach an hour
It's a
of
bit
this
of a weird
stream.
explanation.
Because
I don't know
that
how
should
to
be
explain
a
it well,
good
but you can see the
way to
result here.
see how much
And let
money
me know
we
if you
get
like
in that
how
amount
it
of
looks.
time, I
I
guess.
think it looks fine, but if you think it
And then
looks
we can
dumb,
do
then
the
I might
math
just
on
remove
how
it again.
long
So
it would take if we
yeah,
actually did
let me
it.
know in the comments down below. And now let's get into actually adding the gun. It's me from the future, and I've now implemented the gun attack for the boss, so he can now spawn in with a gun and shoot you, which is it adds a bit more spice to the boss fight. So you can see he backflips, shoots you in the face, and you're done for. But the question here is, why does he do a backflip? I honestly don't know. Every time he teleports, he does a backflip. If you pay close attention, you don't really need to pay close attention even. Just look at this, he does a backflip. I don't know why. It's a bit weird, because the only thing he does when he teleports is I set his game object to false, and then I set it to true again. So I just disable him and enable him, but that makes him rotate 360 degrees for some reason, and I just don't understand why this is happening. So if I just move his position and don't deactivate him and activate him again, then he will not do the backflip. So this is really weird, and it's a big issue because it throws him off balance when he teleports in. You can tell, like, instead of just spawning in straight up and aiming at you, he has to do a backflip and he starts swinging around, and things are just weird. So I'm not sure how to fix this, but I think I'm just gonna have to come up with some sort of solution. But I think I'll save that solution for tomorrow, and I'll show you a little example of what the boss fight currently looks like when all of his attacks are enabled and it's kind of like a full fight. Obviously the balancing isn't done yet, some things aren't quite working, but for the most part, this is what it will look like. He still does the backflip though, which again, I'll fix tomorrow, I hope. Yeah, it's actually quite fun, and I think playing with friends would be even more fun, but when I tried the game out with my friends, I couldn't even make it past the first stage because the camera always killed us. So hopefully when I try the game again, it will be in a better state. So yeah, I think I will go eat my tacos now, and I will continue where I left off tomorrow. It's Saturday, it's time to stop with the backflips, and I do have an idea in mind of how I want to go about this, and hopefully it will work out. Basically, I want to spawn a new boss every time he teleports. This sounds like a terrible idea, but believe me, it's not as terrible as it sounds. Just wait, okay? Finally, after fixing 100 bugs and adding 1,000 more bugs to the game, I've finally managed to stop the backflipping. He will no longer backflip. Praise the Lord. This is great.
Alright,
The cowboy
so
boss is now...
alright, we've been streaming for about roughly an hour, a bit less than an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and check how much money I got in that hour. And then we can do the calculations on how long this will take. Okay, so about $4,200 in about an hour. Less than an hour, probably. Like maybe like 57 minutes or something like that. So we need 500,000. So 500,000 divided by 4,200 is 119 hours. So roughly what I calculated earlier. Basically, I think it's like pretty much exactly the same, right? I guess it doesn't show. Yeah. So that's that, I guess. Yeah. See y'all next time if I do decide to continue this. So.